Oh, Aircraft Orbital Gear. Any Options? Moment, was? Warum kann ich das denn hier nicht auswählen? Aber es ein Craft und kein S-Craft ist. Ja gut, das... Ja, okay. Das macht Sinn. Chloe kommt mit und Annalise. Hier nochmal gucken, was hier so irgendwie Sachen gibt. Ja, ich denke, Mueller ist da schon ganz gut. Noch immer. Umbral Midpoint. So, dann gehen wir weiter. Zack. Eine Lake ist so stark, Mann. We're both empty. Okay. Ich frage mich, ob man den Hajimari vielleicht mein Team komplett nur aus AD von Bladeful Ding nehmen kann. Bring to me the playful minstrel and his closest ally against the beast they seek to overcome. Only then shall the door open. Olivert und Mueller? Playful Minstrel müsste Olivert sein. Sein engster Verbündeter wäre ja dann Mueller. Jo, wisst ihr hier? Das Sao shall not steal ring any bells? Nö. Also ja schon, aber... Who cares? Oh, den hier nehmen wir natürlich mit, weil die kriegen super viele Sepiten. So... Grimoires. Das ist es der High. Das war es der. She sighed in a way that was half frustrated, half disappointed. She never cared about money. Why would he try to win an argument with it? She could only say quietly in her mind, my husband is an idiot. Neue Waffe für sie. Zack, zack. Oh, und nein, andere. Zack. Empty. Someone must have taken the chest tray that used to be in here. Das ist natürlich dann blöd gelaufen. Zack und zack. Certainly. Come on in. Hideko would listen to anything Sato had to say, but no one could know the horrible fate that awaited Hideko this day. Einmal natürlich heilen. Slots, Chloe ist fertig. Mein Analyse haben wir jetzt auch fertig. So, haben wir hier bei Ries weiter, einfach weil sie wahrscheinlich auch bald wieder verpflichtend ist, dass wir sie mitnehmen. PK 5. Ist halt teuer, aber ist halt schon ziemlich gut, ne? Nehmen wir mit. Für sie. Mein PK 4 behalte ich dann gerade mal nochmal für Kevin unter Umständen. Und einmal heilen. So, dann, da wir jetzt hier einen Interpretationspunkt haben, gucken wir, ob ich recht habe, dass Olivert und Mueller sind. War Sterntruhe 8. Yes, ich hatte recht. Es kommt hier jetzt eine Szene, auf die ich noch warte, wo ich eigentlich dachte, dass sie im ersten oder im zweiten Teil kommt. Und eine der letzten Szenen, die ich noch weiß, das hat etwas mit einem Luftschiff und Olivert und Mueller zu tun. I shall grant to you a memory fragment and my blessing. Wollte jetzt mal nicht mehr sagen, falls es das nicht ist. Aber wann soll es sonst endlich mal kommen? 1 month after the collapse of the Olivert Ark, the banquet to celebrate the crisis' successful resolution was over, with the stellen friends having largely left the capital to go elsewhere. One of them, however, Prince Olivert Reich der Anor, sat rather comfortably in the ambassador's office in Grance's Erebonian embassy, his work in country not quite settled. I can't believe that my deepest apology for not noticing that you were as high Prince Olivert sooner. Moment, wusste es nicht? Oh, I'm not surprised you never realized. I may be a prudent, but my mother was a commoner. What point is there in bothering to remember my face? It's not as though I often showed myself in the palace or attended high society gatherings. Knowing me certainly isn't going to help you in moving up the rank, my friend. Ha 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 ha. There's no need to be so humble, Your Highness. Besides, I'm actually rather grateful to you, Ambassador. You gave me all kinds of useful advice during my stay here at the embassy that I'm sure will be to benefit in the future. Well-meant words such as act like a man of the Empire for once in your life and stop idling here, go home and try doing some damned work. Your Highness, Your Highness, I think you've tormented him enough for one day. The ambassador behaved in the same way any other sane man would in his position. If anything, I'd say, sir, I have every right to be angry at us for keeping the truth from him for so long. But Mueller, I suppose you're right. I'll spare him many more teasing for now. I actually wasn't joking about being grateful to you, though. You truly have done admirable work over the past months. I have. Acting as a pipeline with the Empire, checking the safety of Erebonians residing in Liberal, helping the international liner service to resume. And those are only the tip of the iceberg. You've done so much more. You have my deepest thanks as the Prince of the Empire. I am not worthy of such praise, Your Highness. You, however, deserve the utmost for braving the danger you did. flying up to Olivert. All of what happened seems to have caused quite a commotion in our homeland. So people seem to be rather relieved now that they know the danger is past. It's all thanks to your courage that they were able to rest easy. Oh, there's no point in flattering me, Ambassador. I just did what I could. Nothing more, nothing less. And I couldn't have done anything alone. All I was able to accomplish was thanks to the help of those around me. I'm fairly removed from the stereotype of Erebonians as stern, strong, and self-sufficient, if I do say so myself. As foolish as it may be to agree, perhaps you're correct. Yet I believe your willingness to be flexible most definitely helped rather than hindered you here. I believe people like you are exactly what the Empire is going to need in the future. Regardless of how I may feel about His Excellency the Chancellor's approach, Ambassador, well, this is a surprise. I was under the impression that you supported the Chancellor. And again, you are noble. Does that lead you to oppose his reformist policies, perhaps? I may be a noble on paper, but I am only a baron. All in all, I generally fall in favor of his reformist policies. Be that as it may, well, this may just be the result of being a liberal for so long and being influenced by the ways of his people. I do sometimes find myself becoming frightened by his hardline approach. I can't help but wonder exactly what direction he's trying to take our old nation. Interesting. Your Highness? Oh, I was just saying that I'm quite glad to have taken the chance to engage in such fruitful talk with you just before departing the country. I pray you will continue doing all you can to ensure the peace of Liberal and its surrounding nations while I'm gone, preferably in cooperation with Ambassador Coxswain. Yes, let's not forget her, I suppose. Still, it's true that since the non-aggression pact was signed, there has been some progress with regard to the crossbow problem, and given that it was Liberal who proposed said pact, that made my role in future negotiations very important indeed. I presume that is what you are trying to say? You're a sharp one, my good man. Excellent. Now I can return to the capsule with my mind at ease. Leave everything here to me, Your Highness. We'll be looking forward to hearing what you achieve back in our homeland. Oh, ein bisschen was. Gutes Stück. Is this truly a country like no other? I never thought the day would come when I would hear things like that from a noble of the Empire. Indeed, he's apparently somewhat less of an obstinate man than I thought he was. Perhaps this nation's very air has the power to genuinely change people. It seems to have had an effect on you too. I feel like I'm seeing a lot more smiles from you these days than I used to. I'm loath to admit it, but that may well be true. I still find myself wishing that you would learn from Liberalian's dignity and sense of restraint, however. Two qualities you don't particularly possess in any measure. In fact, you're far too much of the opposites. You say that, but these qualities are the only weapon that I have. I don't have much that will allow me to compete against the Chancellor. I need to use that what little happens to be tucked in my corner as best I can. Have there been any changes to our plans? None. We should be able to proceed as arranged. 2 days ago, the Chancellor left the capital on a tour of Western Erebania. Tomorrow you will be returning there aboard the Assay while he's still out in the east. All those who need to be made aware of our return have been given proper notice. Your arrival in Erebania will make a real impact. Of that I am certain. What potential obstructions to the plan are there at present? Nothing major. There have been some movement in the Intelligence Division's 4th Subdivision. Das müsste Elliot Quake, nicht Elliot, wie heißt er im Vornamen? General Quake halt, General Quake Division sein, ne? Beziehungsweise Subdivision müsste Neidhart sein. There's a chance that everyone is being cautious because the Assay is involved, but I'd put greater odds on the idea that everyone is just treating this as a pompous performance by you and not taking it seriously. Well, they'd be right too, it is. I have no choice but to start here, even if it means I have to lose Liberal. And if I'm going to put on a show, why not put on the finest one that skies have ever been seen? I suppose I can't argue that. I'm sorry to trouble you at this late hour, Your Highness. A message has arrived for you from Heimdall. What would you have me do? Really? Alright, come on in. Pardon me? Ja, hallo Lecter. Well, it isn't Lecter. I was wondering where you'd been. I haven't seen you all day. I've been exceptionally busy with work since this morning, I'm afraid. I'd hoped to be able to come and see you earlier since you will be leaving tomorrow. I'm terribly sorry for not being able to. Oh, never mind that. That work of yours is done now. We could always enjoy some sensual quality time together for the remainder of the night. So, what was the message from Capital Secretary? They have acknowledged receipt of His Highness's message. However, they didn't anticipate that you may be able to arrive all the way from Granz in less than half a day. As such, they're currently in a minor panic trying to ensure everything ready for the ceremony tomorrow. That doesn't come as a surprise. There's nothing like your say when it comes to speed at home. Oh, cool you both are for so deftly ignoring my proposal. Although it thought the service stage will be set in time. Now I need to decide on an outfit that will leave everyone jaws on the floor to suit my arrival. Perhaps the glistening coat and the white loincloth will do the trick. Haha, it'll make a grand impact, alright? I almost wish I could go along and treat myself. Please don't encourage him. You show remarkable promise for someone so young. What do you say to coming back on the essay with me? I'd welcome your company. Your Olivert is just about done as it is, isn't it? The offer is certainly tempting, but I'm afraid I have another job to take care of soon. The thought is appreciated, of course. Really? Well, that is a shame. Good luck with that next job of yours. Thank you. Well, if you'll excuse me. So, this is Second Secretary-elect Armadale? Is it safe to assume he's one of the chancellors? Almost definitely, yes. He came through Hakengate on foot and took up his new position at the embassy a month ago. And right around the same time we headed to the Liber Ark aboard via Seite. There's no way that could possibly be a coincidence. No, it couldn't. The most likely possibility seems to be that he's part of the Intelligence Division. Kleinen Moment, ich werde gerade angerufen. So, da bin ich wieder sorry, da wurde ich angerufen. Are you sure not doing anything regarding him all the time was a good idea? Oh, absolutely. We need some way to find out what the Chancellor was up to after all. We'll probably get some kind of reaction from the Chancellor through his report at some point. Probably in about 2 weeks when the Chancellor's tour is finished. You'd planned that far ahead all along, hadn't you? Oh, nee. Der hat nicht 2 Wochen voraus geplant. Olivert plant gerade so, ich würde mal so sagen, 5 Jahre im Voraus. Well, in that case, I'll be sure that we're ready. Are we counting on you, love? Oh, something the matter? Not really, it's just that the moon has come out. And what a beautiful full moon it is. It's strange to think that this will be the last time we'll see the moon from here. Truth be told, I'm going to miss it. Well, it looks like putting a smile on your face a little more often isn't the only thing the bird's done for you. It's opened up your eyes to life's natural beauty as well. But in all seriousness, we just have to do all we can to be able to come back and see it again one day. While we're both still alive. Indeed. Well, about that. The next morning. Da, da, da. Your Majesty, Your Highness, I humbly thank you both for your generous hospitality during my stay in your fine kingdom. You were even gracious enough to humor my brazen request of escorting me back to Heimdall aboard VSA. With that there, you will be repaid many times over in the future. Rest assured of that. Oh, you needn't think of this as anything we went out of our way for. Escorting an honored state guest back home is a matter of course. Particularly a guest to whom we owe a great debt of gratitude. If you ever have the opportunity, please do come back to Olivert again in the future. I imagine Mr. and Joshua will be back by then too, so we'll all be able to give you a nice warm welcome. I'm already excited for my next visit. Have they left the country yet, by the way? They're busy getting ready to leave over in Roland at the moment, I believe. I'm planning to see them off when the time comes. I see. Incidentally, while the ruins of Mueller are currently sealed off, I'll do what I can on my end to ensure they are allowed inside. Could I trouble you to pass that along to them? Certainly. Thank you very much, Your Highness. Oh, think nothing of it. It's the least I could do after all they've done for me. I owe you a great deal too, Cassius. If not for your assistance, stopping that armored division from crossing into Olivert wouldn't have been as simple as it was. I could say the same to you. Though, as I'm sure you're aware, that outcome would have been well within the realm of possibility for our Chancellor. I doubt he was even surprised by the incident. Really? Most likely not. Albonia had nothing at all to gain from using that situation to occupy Olivert. Certainly not the extent that it would be worth going out of their way to develop an efficient steam tank. The only reason I can see for him doing what he did was as a show of power to surrounding nations, a statement that even without all the power, Albonia's army could still act. I indeed suspect that was his true aim all along. Goodness. So he did notice. The overshutdown phenomenon was a complete unknown to the rest of the continent. Perhaps it might never occur again, but there's always a chance it might, whether it's here or somewhere else entirely. I hear the Empire only built a relatively small number of those tanks in all too, certainly not enough to launch a full-scale invasion. By the sounds of it, they were just put together in Reinford's factories, using parts intended for standard orbit tanks. But as it stands, the know-how to put together tanks like that only exists in the Empire. And in these unpredictable times, no other nation has the time or resources to try and develop extremely inefficient steam-powered weaponry. In a sense, because of what just happened, the Imperial Army's effect as a deterrent is even greater than ever. He's using war as a diplomatic tool, and very effectively at that. None of this had even occurred to me. I have a long way to go before I'm fit to be ruler of this country. Don't beat yourself up too much about it. He's no ordinary foe to even the most hardened veterans. The Chancellor always seems to be sitting several steps ahead of the rest of the world. It's impressive, no matter what we may think of his actual ideas. I'm quite the reckless fool to be trying to challenge him, if I do say so myself. Don't be silly, Your Highness. How can you say that with a smile on your face is utterly beyond me? You should focus on building yourself a strong foothold to begin with. I do hope you'll be careful. No matter what may occur, be sure not to lose sight of exactly where you stand. Of course, Your Majesty. If I were to go and bring shame upon myself now, I'd be wasting all the effort involved in escorting me back home. I'll be sure to take what you have said to heart. Excuse me, Your Majesty. Hilda, whatever is the matter? It's not often I see you so flustered. My apologies, Your Majesty. It's just that a guest of you arrived all of a sudden at the castle. Ordinarily, I would not have rushed in while you were meeting with others, but the visitor is so irregular that I thought you should know at once. Irregular? How so? It sounds like the time I take my leave then. Actually, the visitor said he would like to greet you as well, and not just Your Majesty. What? Hilda, just who is this visitor? Well, he introduced himself as Chancellor Gilead Osborne of the Albonian Empire. Ooh. Ja, hallo, Gilead. Okay, sieht ein bisschen anders aus. It's an honor to be granted a personal audience. Ich kriege leider seine geile Stimme nicht hin. I am Gilead Osborne, representative of the Imperial Government. My apologies for the abrupt intrusion. So you are Chancellor Osborne. And it's a pleasure to see you again as well, Your Highness. It's been a year since we last met, has it not? I hope these passing months have seen you well. Yes, a year sounds about right. So while I hope you forgive me for asking, Just what did prompt someone of your stature to appear at the castle without warning? I'd very much like to hear your side of the story. My apologies, Your Highness. You see, these past few days I've been touring Eastern Arbonia on routine inspections. It's been going very smoothly, more so than I had initially anticipated. I had enough free time in my schedule to pay a cordial visit. Oh my, is that so? Naturally, I would have preferred to come here while the crisis was still unfolding like you yourself did, Your Highness. Unfortunately, the confusion in southern Arbonia was simply too pressing a matter, and I had no choice but to deal with that first. This is the first chance that presented itself to come here and meet directly with Her Majesty, so I acted with the utmost expediency. I hope you forgive my lack of proper decorum in failing to give advance notice of my arrival. That does make sense, at least. Regardless, please don't concern yourself with me. No doubt you wish to offer your greetings to Her Majesty. My thanks, Your Highness. Well then, allow me to extend my most heartfelt greetings to both of you, Queen Alicia and Princess Claudia. It is abundantly clear that the crisis that unfolded here has been quite the ordeal for yourselves and for your nation's people. You have my deepest sympathies for the hardships you've endured, as well as my commendation for bringing the situation under control. I thank you for your kind words, Your Excellency. If anything, we should be apologizing to you for the fact that the southern side of your nation was caught up in what should have been our problem. We should be the ones going to you rather than having you trouble yourself to come all the way to the borough. I beg you to accept our apologies, together with my deepest thanks for coming here today. I would never ask for apologies. I've heard what happened was the work of a shadowy organization stirring up trouble within your borders. While I meant well by sending a military force to aid you, I wouldn't have done something so careless had I known the truth of the matter. My actions were rash, foolish even, and I was rightfully reprimanded by His Imperial Majesty for them. Oh my! Fortunately, His Highness the Prince was able to act with all due haste to put right my misstep before even greater harm was done. I owe you a great debt of gratitude for that, Your Highness. And congratulations besides for your part in bringing an end to the crisis. Oh, I did nothing out of the ordinary. I had a lot of help from Her Majesty, Her Highness, and Brigadier General White here, too. Pride, you say? It's a pleasure to meet you, Your Excellency. I'm Cassius White, a Brigadier General in the Liberian Royal Army. Haha, the pleasure's all mine, I assure you. Your name is rather well known even in the Empire. Not as much as yours is known here in Liberl, I would imagine. It's an honor to be able to speak with you in person. It's certainly a surprise to be able to, though. Coming here on a whim can't have been easy for a man as busy as yourself. Sounds as though I may have underestimated just how capable you truly are. Oh, das macht leider viele. Not at all, I was greatly impressed to see the Royal Army's effectiveness in dealing with the tumult here. Your forces have proven powerful yet flexible, capable of dealing with emergency supply ably and decisively. I might go so far as to say it embodies an ideal that the Imperial Army, with its swollen ranks, could never hope to realize. You flatter us, Your Excellency. For your part, I hear you are responsible for the establishment of the Imperial Army's famed intelligence division. Our army is in desperate need of a new one of its own, so I find myself quite envious. Haha, it almost sounds as though the two of us each want what the other has. Haha, so it does. May I ask, Your Excellency, what will you be doing now? For my part, I intend to leave the ball today, so I'm afraid I won't be around much longer. Yes, so I've been told. I believe you're intending to make your grand arrival in Heimdall aboard the famous Assay. I'm impressed you are already aware. I almost wish I could return to Arbonia on board it alongside you. But alas, I'm afraid I have other business demanding my attention after I'm finished here. I'll be leaving the berth separately this afternoon. That is a shame. I would very much have liked to invite you to this evening's banquet. Please, you need not to go to such troubles on my account. I feel as though I've put you out enough showing up unannounced as I did, to say nothing of dining with such esteemed company. Still, I do have some time before the airship I'll be leaving on is due to depart. That being the case, might I ask for a little of your time, Your Highness? I have a few things I'd like to discuss with you personally. Very well. Just some matters I would actually like to discuss personally with you as well. What a gracious coincidence. Fortuitous, so. Allow me to have the room arranged for the two of you to have your discussion, then. Hilda, if you would. Certainly, Your Majesty. Das ist wahrscheinlich der Moment, der in der Mondtour von Claudia erwähnt wurde. Ich meinte, hey, 2 Jahre später sehe ich Leck deiner ungewohnten Situation wieder.